While Sony have reversed its decision to shut down the digital storefronts for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, it's still going through with some of its planned shutdowns. The PlayStation Portable Store, for instance, will cease to be in the summer, and the PlayStation Store will no longer be selling video content, i.e., movies and TV shows, by the end of August. However, it sounds like Sony already has a new alternative in mind. Earlier today, a logo for something called PlayStation Plus Video Pass was spotted on Sony's official website. The website also described it as a limited-time benefit for PlayStation Plus users, available from April 22 until the same date in 2022. Both the logo and description have been removed, but not before we caught wind of it, and saved images of the logo and description for posterity's sake. At face value, this simply appears to be an exclusive service for PlayStation Plus subscribers, similar to the PlayStation Plus Collection, a bundle of 20 highly acclaimed PlayStation 4 games that can be played on the PlayStation 5. Only instead of games, it will provide access to movies. However, it's not clear if subscribers will be able to download and keep movies for as long as they maintain their subscription, just like with PS Plus free games, or if it operates like Xbox Game Pass, and they're only accessible for as long as they're on the service. The banner accompanying the description features Venom, Zombieland Double Tap, and Bloodshot, all of which are movies from Sony Pictures. This could imply that the service will only offer movies from Sony's own library, but Sony hasn't provided any comment about the service's existence or how it will work. Considering the trial is listed as beginning on April 22, it seems the information was published ahead of schedule and Sony intends on making an official announcement on April 22. Sony also owns a large amount of popular TV series, as well as anime streaming service Funimation, so this video pass could also contain box sets of TV shows and anime-related content as well. Even if it is only limited to movies, this can only bolster PlayStation Plus offerings and potentially encourage more people to sign up for it. With how popular Microsoft's Game Pass is, many are shocked that Sony has yet to offer anything remotely similar. Some are convinced that Sony is working on its own equivalent, with God of War creator David Jaffe even saying as much, and the Video Pass could be Sony's first step. For some time now, there have been several rumors circulating online about Sony and Konami. These rumors suggest that the two companies' working relationships could be restored on some level. In 2020, it was rumored that Sony was planning on buying Konami, though this has yet to come to fruition, and there hasn't been any official news on a possible acquisition. Since the rumors started about Sony's possible purchase, subsequent rumors about new games and exclusivity have cropped up. Konami and Sony used to have a close working relationship. Some Konami games launched exclusively on PlayStation consoles, even though Sony didn't own Konami. The Metal Gear Solid series, in particular, has seen multiple exclusive launches on PlayStation consoles. Other games, like Silent Hill 2, were launched first on a PlayStation console, before being ported to other platforms sometime after. While none of the recent rumors have yet to be proven accurate, if there is any truth to them, Sony and Konami could be working closely together once again. One of the most prevalent rumors has been that Silent Hill could be rebooted exclusively on PlayStation 5. The bulk of these rumors suggest that Silent Hill will be rebooted for PS5, and that an official announcement has been delayed for the time being. Throughout 2020, there were frequent unverified claims about formal reveals of the new Silent Hill game. Ultimately, none of these turned out to be true, and there is currently no official word on the new game. Fans have several questions about the purported Silent Hill reboot. There are reportedly 2 new Silent Hill titles in development, according to an unverified leak. This leak suggested that one game would act as a soft reboot for the series, while the other title would be RPG-influenced, and would be considered a spin-off game. The developer of the medium, Bloober Team, has added fuel to the fire with its CEO stating that the company is working on another game in conjunction with a big-name publisher. Many fans believe this to be Konami and Silent Hill due to Bloober Team's experience with horror games. The most recent rumors indicate that the PS5 Silent Hill game has changed developer, but like the other alleged information, there has been no official word on it. In a post on Reset Era, leaker Catharsis T answered a question about the status of the Silent Hill PS5 exclusive game. Catharsis T said that the rumored Silent Hill PS5 game was still in development, but that the studio developing the game has changed. They stopped short of revealing the name of the new studio working on the Silent Hill PS5 game, and while they didn't say that this is why a reveal is taking so long, one could infer that the studio change could very well have something to do with it. It was never clear from the leaks and rumors which studio has even been working on the Silent Hill PS5 game. That being said, the prevailing theory was that the game was in development at Sony's Japan studio, with Silent Hill creator Keiichiro Toyama serving as the game director. Sony's downsizing of Japan studio and Toyama forming a new company to work on an original new horror IP makes that incredibly unlikely, however. Of course, it's possible that Sony's Japan studio was working on the Silent Hill PS5 exclusive game, but that the decision to downsize the studio is what has seen the project passed on to another developer. All of this is just speculation at this time though, as the Silent Hill PS5 game has not been announced in any official capacity, and there is no substantial evidence to suggest a secret partnership between Sony and Konami. The status of the rumored new Silent Hill game on PS5 continues to be a mystery to us, but we can hope that an official reveal will come sooner rather than later. Similar to the Silent Hill reboot rumors, the first Metal Gear Solid game has been rumored for a remake on PlayStation 5. It's been rumored that Konami has been looking into licensing out its properties, including Metal Gear Solid. Once the unverified claims of a remake came to light, some fans immediately thought of Bluepoint Games as the developer to remake Metal Gear Solid. The developer has a track record of working on remakes which have proven to be critically successful. With Bluepoint Games' long association with Sony, this rumor could be considered more credible than others. Recently, the Metal Gear rumors have expanded. Further unverified information says there's a series of remakes in the works, and it's not just the first Metal Gear Solid game. With Hideo Kojima's departure from Konami in 2015, many fans would be displeased with a brand new Metal Gear project without him. A Metal Gear Solid remake collection might be a safe move for Konami. The new leaks suggest that the series of remakes are part of a deal between Sony and Konami, and if this turns out to be true, the two companies may have restored their previous working relationship. The Metal Gear Solid Twitter profile has teased something in recent days, and I am hoping it's related to a potential remake. All these rumors should be taken with a grain of salt unless they're verified, but the sheer quantity of rumors could indicate something between Sony and Konami. Speaking of development, Sony's Santa Monica studio is currently staffing up for an unannounced fantasy-based game. Together with the likes of Insomniac Games and Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studio is considered to be one of Sony's biggest assets in the gaming spectrum. For those who aren't aware, it's the studio behind the hugely successful God of War series, which has proven to be one of the PlayStation's most popular and best-selling exclusive series of all time. It is my best of all time, and Kratos is my favorite character of all time. Now, on the same day that the most recent God of War celebrates its 3rd anniversary, speculation is growing that the developer could be staffing up to work on a brand new IP. With the release of the as-yet untitled God of War sequel edging ever closer, it should come as little surprise that the developer is starting to think about its next big project. In fact, Santa Monica Studio has been quietly hiring for its next project since at least the beginning of this year. Up until now, however, there had been very little indication as to what that title might be, but thanks to one of the developer's most recent job listings, things are starting to become a little clearer. The developer is currently in the process of recruiting a senior character concept artist to work on a new unannounced title. While this much is old news, things get a little interesting in the roles, responsibilities, and requirements sections, which state that the successful candidate will be expected to develop characters for fantasy-based worlds and must have the skills needed to render realistic, believable fantasy-based creatures, characters, and props. With this in mind, it's now looking all but certain that Santa Monica Studios' next project will be a fantasy game of some sort. As for whether it's a brand new IP or a new entry in an existing franchise though, things are a little less clear. Aside from a futuristic racing game for the PS2 back in 2001, Santa Monica Studio has worked almost exclusively on God of War titles since it was founded in 1999. It has co-developed numerous titles, however, and has worked with developers including Thatgama Company, Funbits and Giant Sparrow in this capacity on multiple occasions. Interestingly, the latter is also currently hiring for an unannounced project that will apparently be in the spirit of Disney's Fantasia, although this is probably just a coincidence. Given the recent reports that Sony is shifting its attention away from smaller games to focus on blockbuster hits, it seems a little unlikely that one of the company's biggest first-party studios would partner up with a smaller developer, especially at such a pivotal time in the PS5's life cycle. With that in mind, a brand new IP seems like the most realistic outcome, although nothing can be ruled out until more information has been revealed. With the next God of War title still scheduled to release before the end of 2021, that could happen a lot sooner than we might expect. It may be a God of War prequel title, as Cory Barlog always says never heard of it when he see the word Ragnarok. It may also be a continuation of their 2016's cancelled sci-fi project that could be a new sci-fi fantasy IP. God of War Ragnarok is coming as my most anticipated title, and I am eager to find out the trailer and its release date. Moving forward, we have a new report suggests that a newly published patent from NVIDIA reveals that the company is potentially looking into using AI to add more haptic feedback to video games, which may have taken inspiration from the critically acclaimed PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. In recent years, companies like NVIDIA and Sony have been looking closely at different ways that AI can improve the gaming experience. Now, a recently published patent from NVIDIA reveals that the company is looking into utilizing AI to improve video game haptics. For those who don't know, haptics are the physical responses that video games give to players to accentuate certain things happening in a game. The most common example is a controller vibrating when shooting a gun or driving a car, but it also ranges to things like vibrating vests, and even the PlayStation 5's new DualSense controller that gives haptic feedback on the triggers. The patent, originally filed back in September 2019, looks at a possible way to utilize machine learning to add haptic feedback accurately into video games and other media. The researchers from NVIDIA behind the patent suggest that an algorithm could be used to determine specific features within a video game or piece of media, and then determine proper haptic feedback to associate with it. The system would require players to be using different haptic-enabled peripherals, like Activision's possible haptic gun controller, but once players had that, the AI could have a rather large impact on the players' experiences. While the patent does not provide much detail on specific uses of the AI, but patents rarely are. The patent's description of the AI, however, does leave the concept open to a number of different applications. It could interface with multiple haptic devices at once, or could even add a haptic layer to television and movies by detecting things like explosions to provide a more impactful experience. Of course, if the AI was developed, it would require some training by NVIDIA to get its basic understanding down before it was in the hands of consumers, and could then adapt on the fly to different media without any exposure to it beforehand. Of course, NVIDIA's DLSS feature already utilizes AI, so the company would be treading familiar ground. NVIDIA's patent is being published shortly after Sony's patent to use AI to make games more accessible, which hints at the industry's attention turning towards the many possible uses of AI in improving video games industry-wide. It is great to see what could all be possible new features for the industry in the near future, and while many patents are filed without ever leading to an official release, if even a small percentage of the patents lead to something tangible, the video games industry will look very different in just a few years. Xbox Game Pass continues to grow in popularity, in large part thanks to Microsoft ensuring that the service has a constant stream of brand new games for subscribers to check out. In recent weeks, these new games have included AAA looter shooter Outriders, as well as the Sony-developed MLB The Show 21. One of the biggest new video game releases on the horizon is Resident Evil Village, and, naturally, some fans are wondering if the game will be on Game Pass. Unfortunately for anyone hoping to play Resident Evil Village on Xbox Game Pass, it doesn't seem as though that's going to happen at least within the game's first year of release anyway. Some unverified documents reportedly detail an exclusivity deal between Sony and Capcom that ensures Resident Evil Village will not come to Xbox Game Pass within the first year of its launch. Reputable leakers have vouched for the documents' legitimacy on Twitter by retweeting them, but the tweets have since been deleted. Fans should take this information with a massive grain of salt. Both Microsoft and Sony have signed limited-time exclusivity deals, with some recent examples being the Bethesda games Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop on PS5. Both of those games are going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5 for a certain amount of time, and once that window of exclusivity is up, they will have the potential to be ported to other systems as well. There have been rumors that Sony has an answer for Xbox Game Pass, but if so, it has yet to play its hand. While Microsoft's main strategy this generation seems to be bolstering Xbox Game Pass and getting as many subscribers as possible, Sony seems to be sticking to its guns, focusing on big-budget, critically acclaimed exclusive games instead. And while Sony is producing plenty of its own first-party content for PlayStation, it's also penned a variety of deals with third parties to pad its exclusivity lineup. For these reasons, it's not hard to believe at all that Sony has some kind of deal in place with Capcom to keep Resident Evil Village off Xbox Game Pass. After all, Sony and Capcom already do have deals in place in regards to Resident Evil Village, as PlayStation has been the lead platform for marketing and has had some exclusive demos. This includes the Resident Evil Village Maiden demo, as well as the Village and Castle demos, with the latter two releasing on PlayStation first before eventually coming to other platforms. It's also worth stressing that this doesn't mean that Resident Evil Village was ever going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass anyway. This deal, if it's real, is basically just a guarantee that it won't happen within the next year, and doesn't mean that a Resident Evil Village Xbox Game Pass release was ever considered or discussed. It seems like the bigger magazines and some people are taking this rumor hard, and are speaking against Sony. It is certain that big gaming journals such as IGN, GameSpot and some others are on the side of Xbox, and seems to be controlled. After all, this report can be a distraction, and we should praise Sony for what they have been doing these years, and in years to come. And that's all for the video guys. Like and share the video for a bigger audience, comment your thoughts on the discussed topics, and if you want to contribute to the channel by means of donation, the link to my PayPal is in the video's description. You can send me donations which will help me to make more contents consistently and new things such as gameplay, podcasts and live streaming. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then from SMPV it's goodbye.